Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Should Celtics consider trading for Jimmy Butler, despite his demands? Six-time All-Star Miami Heat small forward Jimmy Butler has long been a thorn in the Boston Celtics sides during the postseason. Now, he's on the trade block, of his own apparent volition. The Heat are 13-10 on the year, and when healthy, Butler has been his typical all-star self. Heading into Thursday's victory against the Toronto Raptors, the 6'7" Marquette alum is averaging 19.0 points on a .557/.360/.787/ line, 5.4 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 1.2 steals a night. According to Shams Charania of ESPN, both Miami and Butler are open to a mutual divorce if both sides can find a deal that makes sense. Charania reported that the five-time All-NBA honoree's agent, Bernie Lee, has indicated that he is interested in linking up with the Dallas Mavericks, his hometown Houston Rockets, the Golden State Warriors, and potentially the Phoenix Suns. Lee himself took to his X account to dispute Charania's claim about the Suns specifically, calling it made-up bulls, though Charania later insisted that his sources were thoroughly vetted. "I 1000% stand by my reporting," Charania said on ESPN program First Take. "It's fully vetted, and as a professional, that's what I do. That's what I get paid to do, that's what I'm going to do, report truthfully and accurately. That's what this is, period." NBA insider Mark Stein writes on his Substack, however, that due to cap constrictions, it is considered highly unlikely that none of the Rockets, Mavericks, or Warriors will realistically be able to acquire Butler's services. Meanwhile, a source informs Gerald Bourgeois of PHNX Sports that the Suns are uninterested in obtaining Butler this season. This would leave the door open for another team to take a gander. Would the 20-5 Celtics, the reigning champions who have brought back all of their top 10 players from 2024 to 25, really want to disrupt their current, probably league-best chemistry to add a marquee name right now? Yes, when healthy, the 35-year-old Butler would be the second-best player on the Celtics, behind only All-NBA superstar power forward Jason Tatum. But acquiring him would mean ditching multiple core pieces elsewhere on the roster. Outside of a straight-up trade for All-Star Celtics swingman Jaylen Brown, 28, for Butler, the logistics of making a deal in the modern CBA would make bringing in Butler almost prohibitively difficult, as both Boston and Miami are currently over the league's salary cap. The teams could perhaps make other moves before trying to make a trade work. The Heat would happily take on Brown, even if Butler at present is a smidge better. But the Celtics would almost certainly not do such a deal, perhaps not even if Miami attached both of its tradable future draft picks, in 2029 and 2031. How the Golden State Warriors could get Jimmy Butler and LeBron James before the trade deadline. Word on the street is that the Miami Heat are open to trading Jimmy Butler. Butler, at 35, is still delivering solid numbers, 18.6 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 4.7 assists per game this season. He's got a player option worth $52.4 million for the 2025-26 season, but rumors suggest he might decline it to explore free agency. His agent has hinted that Jimmy's eyeing teams with championship potential, and guess who's on that list? Yep, the Warriors, along with the Rockets and Mavericks. On the other side, we've got LeBron James. Despite the Lakers' ups and downs, LeBron has been clear about his commitment to staying in LA. Still, reports indicate that the Warriors are keeping tabs on his situation, just in case things change. Now, how could the Warriors pull off bringing both of these stars to the Bay? It's a tall order, no doubt. Golden State's roster is already packed with hefty contracts, including Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and recent additions like Buddy Hield, who came in after Klay Thompson's move to the Mavericks. To make room for Butler and potentially LeBron, the Warriors would need to get creative with their assets. This could mean parting ways with promising talents like Jonathan Kuminga or Moses Moody, and possibly moving some of their recent veteran signings. Financially, it's a tight squeeze. The Warriors are already deep into luxury tax territory, and adding two massive contracts would complicate things further. They'd have to negotiate deals that might involve multiple teams to balance salaries and make the trades feasible. This potential trade could send Jimmy Butler to the Warriors, giving Golden State another defensive and offensive weapon to complement Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Suns insider reveals when Jimmy Butler trade could happen. There does appear to be substance to rumors of Miami Heat superstar Jimmy Butler wanting to join the Phoenix Suns ahead of the league's February 6 trade deadline. This afternoon, Suns insider John Gambadoro revealed Phoenix would be Butler's top option if the Heat were to actually deal him, which you can read more about here. With Phoenix deep in the second apron of the luxury tax, a deal of this magnitude does get a bit tricky. Gambadoro appeared at the top of the hour on Arizona sports Burns and Gambo and dove deeper into the topic, so in making some calls and doing some homework on this, you can do a two-team trade between the Suns and Miami. Yesterday we were under the belief that you probably have to include a third team, but you don't. I even talked to Bobby Marks yesterday for a little bit trying to figure this whole thing out, Gambadoro said. But all you have to do, Miami would just have to add a minimum player, basically any minimum player, to the deal, and you can make a trade work between the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat. So you would not need a third team to get a deal done. It would have to be Bradley Beal. It would have to be Beal, said Gambadoro. With the Suns wanting to cling on to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, Beal is the only piece to the puzzle that can make a deal come to fruition, though the star has a no-trade clause and ultimately holds the power. That being said, yesterday Gambadoro did report that Beal would be willing to waive the clause. So when could the trade happen? Not anytime soon, says Gambadoro. Not now. The Phoenix Suns are 11-2 with Kevin Durant in the lineup and their guys, they're 11-2. They've struggled without Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant makes things easier for everybody else. The Phoenix Suns are very likely going to take the next 10 to 15 games to see who they are, he said. Are you the team that was 11-2 if Durant and everybody stays healthy, or are you the team that's 1-9 without Durant, or are you somewhere in the middle? In the next 15 games, if the Suns get everybody healthy, and they go 11-4, it's probably unlikely that they would explore a trade for Jimmy Butler. It's probably unlikely. If things mesh, they play well, things develop, I'm talking mid to late January. Give yourself 10-15 games. If the Suns play the next 15 games and they're 8-7, I think then they start exploring, what do we have to do? The Suns are going to try to win this year. That trade is not going to be made now. It's not going to be made right now. It's going to be made after the Suns kind of figure out who they are, if the trade would happen at all. They have to figure out who they are. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.